So I'm seeing the latest news with Conor Benn is that his ban has been lifted and there's not going to be no appeal, and he wants to now go and fight Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. Now I'm thinking, okay, so you're not fighting Chris no more. That fight's off now. You're not talking about that anymore. Let's go and see what the news is saying about the situation. So I run across this news article on a site called Yard Barker by a guy called Ricky Carroll. It says, Conor Benn next fight. Eddie Hearn reveals offer made for world title shot. Conor Benn recently received another boost in his efforts to return to the ring, with the UK Anti-Doping and British Board of Boxing Control electing not to appeal his suspension being lifted. Following this news, it appears it's full steam ahead regarding the return of Benn, and Eddie Hearn, when speaking to IFL.TV, gave the latest on a possible fight with Chris Eubanks Jr. Hearn also revealed they have made an offer for the WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios. Benn released a statement via his X account claiming he had been cleared following his 2 positive tests for the fertility drug clomiphene. These tests took place before his scheduled fight with Chris Eubanks Jr. in October 2022. With the latest news that no appeal will be made against the lifting of Benn's suspension, the Destroyer can finally look forward to getting his career back on track. He has hired respected manager Keith Connolly as his co-manager, and his next fight is seemingly closer than ever. Speaking to IFL TV, Hearn revealed, "We've got 2 options, fight Eubank or fight for the world title. We've been back and forward with Eubank's team. I think Frank Smith met Ben Shalom the other day for a catch-up. We're talking, but Conor wants to fight for the world title. He's made that clear to us," revealed Hearn. Hearn added, "What I explained to him is that Eubank's fight is not a fight, unfortunately. Because of the stubbornness and the hate between the two, that gets made quickly." The Matchroom Sports chairman also spoke on the mindset of Benn and said, "Conor's in that kind of mood. So Conor's saying, leave Eubank, we'll fight him in the summer. Let's fight for the world title. I'll win the world title, then I'll fight Eubank. And, by the way, that fight will be even bigger." So, I don't know what fantasy boxing world or what fantasy boxing life Conor Benn is living. He's never fought to put himself in contention to be in the WBC mandatory position. But let's not even think about that, because we know it's the Benn name that's giving him any type of clout in boxing at all. But what he's saying is going to beat Mario Barrios, become WBC welterweight champion, and then go upstairs to middleweight, 2 weight classes above, and beat Chris Eubanks Jr. as well. What are you talking about? So you're going to go and win the WBC welterweight title, then jump up to middleweight and beat, let's say you jump up to middleweight and you beat Chris Eubanks Jr. What are you doing after that? You're going to boil yourself back down to welterweight. You think it's all about jumping weight class to weight class like it's nothing. Jumping up 2-3 weight classes and then coming back down 2-3 weight classes. What's this? It's a joke. I mean, at the end of the day, the WBC said anyone in their top 10 can be the mandatory. And you are number 2 somehow. You're number 2 in the WBC ranking. I don't know or remember any fight that you've had to put you in the WBC number 2 position, and you haven't fought properly for the past 2 years. You definitely haven't fought as a welterweight in the last 2 years. So what gives you the right to just jump up and fight for titles at any weight class? Oh, yes, sorry. I said it before. It's the name. The Benn name puts you wherever you need to be and whenever you want to be. In that interview with Eddie, he said we've only got 2 options. How can you only have 2 options when you're a boxer in the early parts of your career as well? You are still a prospect. There are numerous bring-along fights that you can have at this stage of your career. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I believe that Eddie and them agree with me in this notion. I don't believe Conor Benn beats any of these contenders for any of the belts. So therefore, just fast track him to a Mario Barrios fight. Now, I don't think that Mario Barrios is that good. So a fight between him and Conor Benn is actually an even fight. It's even playing field for Conor Benn. It's actually 50-50 in my opinion. And I actually believe that Conor Benn could beat a Mario Barrios just as much as I believe Mario Barrios could beat a Conor Benn. So if that fight does take place, I'll have a bit of fun trying to analyze that fight. But now we know that Conor Benn is lifted from his ban and he's chasing down this WBC welterweight title fight, which I'm sure he'll get. I'm sure he'll get it. So with that being said, let's see what goes on going forward with Conor Benn now that his ban has been lifted. And let's see what happens for the rest of his career. I mean, Chris Eubanks Jr. looking like he's lining up a fight with Erislandy Lara for his WBA middleweight title. So if he becomes a WBA middleweight champion, what kind of motivation will he have to fight Conor Benn other than the money? But it won't be for no title. Or you're going to let Conor Benn come up to you and fight you for your title? Or are you still going to do this catchweight nonsense? I think it's a nonsensical fight between Conor Benn and Chris Eubanks Jr. I don't think that fight should even take place when these guys are professionals. They should wait till they retire and have some sort of exhibition type fight. But that's another story. Conor Benn looks like he's going after Mario Barrios for this WBC title. Let's see if he gets that fight. And I'll see you guys in the next video.